Hello students, so in this video we'll see the middle part of the norma basalis. The middle part, it is bounded anteriorly by the posterior surface of this hard palate, while posteriorly by the anterior imaginary line passing through the anterior margin of the foramen magnum. Now in the midline there is a bone which is a vertically placed over here. It is known as the vomer bone. So in this skull you are able to see this is the lower part of the vomer bone, and over here it lies the posterior border. This is a thin plate of bone which divides the posterior nasal cavity into the two parts, right and left. And if you see internally, see this is the vomer bone. The anterior part is intact while the posterior part has been broken up. So this posterior border of the vomer bone lies in the midline, and it articulates superiorly with this sphenoid bone, that is rostrum part of the sphenoid bone, and inferiorly it articulates with this hard palate. The superior surface of this vomer bone is diverged to form what is known as the ala, and this ala ultimately articulates with the rostrum of the sphenoid to form a scondylosis variety of a sutural joint. Now laterally, if you see, this is your medial pterygoid plate, and in front lies this vertical plate of a palatine bone. So from this medial pterygoid plate there is a process called vaginal process of the medial pterygoid plate which goes medially, and it is having a groove over here, and above it lies this sphenoidal process of the palatine bone. So sphenoidal process of the palatine bone and this vaginal process of the medial pterygoid plate, in between them there is a formation of a canal known as the palato-vaginal canal. If you see this is your palato-vaginal canal. It lies between the palatine bone and medial pterygoid plate, which is derived from the sphenoid bone. Now these two ala, they also diverge and they go laterally. So between this ala of the vomer bone and between this vaginal process of this medial pterygoid plate, there is another opening. These two opening which lies medially, they are known as the vomerovaginal canal. So on either side of this, between this ala and this vaginal process of the medial pterygoid plate, you have got the vomerovaginal canal. In the midline, this is the broad bar of the bone which is formed by the fusion of the body of the sphenoid as well as the basio-occiput of this occipital bone. And over here lies there is a median elevation just in front of this foramen magnum. It is known as pharyngeal tubercle. Now lateral area of this middle portion, it is being formed by two parts of the sphenoid bone. One is the pterygoid plates or pterygoid process, and laterally you have got the greater wing of sphenoid. The pterygoid process, if you see, it is projected downwards, vertically downwards from the junction of the greater wing of sphenoid with that to the body of the sphenoid. This whole is your sphenoid bone. So here lies the body of the sphenoid, here lies the greater wing. From the junction of these two, there is a pterygoid process. Now each pterygoid process, if you see, anteriorly it is fused with each other, while posteriorly it has got two flanges. The medially it is known as the medial pterygoid plate. This one is known as medial pterygoid plate, and lateral plate, this is known as the lateral pterygoid plate. And in between this medial and lateral pterygoid plate, if you see, this is your known as the pterygoid fossa. So this is your pterygoid fossa over here between the two pterygoid plate posteriorly. So this is V-shaped pterygoid fossa. Now fused anterior border of this two pterygoid plate, medially it is fused with this palatine bone, while laterally, if you see, it is separated from this posterior surface of the maxilla by this pterygomaxillary fissure. So this fissure, what you are able to see over here, this portion is known as pterygomaxillary fissure. This is pterygomaxillary fissure. If you trace this fissure superiorly, it is continuous with this inferior orbital fissure. See, this is inferior orbital fissure you are able to see in the orbit. So this inferior orbital fissure is further, if you trace it downwards, it is continues as the pterygomaxillary fissure, and over here lies the pterygopalatine fossa. This region is of the part that is their infratemporal fossa, and this is your temporal fossa. So temporal fossa, infratemporal fossa, and over here lies the pterygopalatine fossa. The medial pterygoid plate, if you see, this medial pterygoid plate is directed backward, and it has got the medial surface as well as the lateral surface, and it has got the posterior free surface. Inferiorly, it has got this hammer-like structure known as pterygoid hamulus. So this hammer-like projection over here is known as pterygoid hamulus. See, if you are able to see, this portion is known as pterygoid hamulus. So this is also known as pterygoid hamulus. And if you trace it upper end, this free posterior border, if you trace it upper end, it diverges in two parts. In between them there is a triangular fossa is there, it is known as scaphoid fossa. So this is the posterior free border. If you trace it upwards, it diverges to form the another depression known as scaphoid fossa. So this is your scaphoid fossa. This portion is scaphoid fossa. The lateral pterygoid plate, if you see, it is directed backward and laterally. This is directed backward and laterally. It has also got the free posterior border. It has got this lateral surface which forms the medial margin of the infratemporal fossa, and it has got this medial surface. Now, middle of the posterior border, if sometimes there is a projection known as, which is directed towards the spina sphenoid, it is known as pterygospinous projection or pterygospinous process. Now, further in the lateral part, what you are able to see, this is a pentagonal inferior surface of the sphenoid, greater wing of sphenoid bone. This shape is pentagonal. It has got the anterior margin. This anterior border or anterior margin, it will separate it from the maxilla through this inferior orbital fissure. It has got anterolateral margin which forms the infratemporal crest of sphenoid. It has got posterolateral margin. This is the posterolateral margin. This one is posterolateral margin, and it has got posteromedial as well as the anteromedial margin. If you see over here, this inferior surface in relation to the greater wing of sphenoid, there is a pentagonal shape infratemporal surface of the greater wing of sphenoid. It is pentagonal in shape. It has got anterior margin which separates it from this inferior orbital fissure over here. It has got anterolateral margin which forms the infratemporal crest over here. It has got posterolateral margin which separates it from this squamous temporal part. It has got posteromedial margin. This is posteromedial margin. It separates from this petrous temporal bone, and it has got the anteromedial margin. This anteromedial margin, it is continuous with this pterygoid process. Now at the junction of this posterolateral and posteromedial margin, there is a projection over here. See, posterolateral and posteromedial, there is a projection which you are able to see. This is known as the spine of sphenoid. This is the spine of sphenoid. If you see the spine of sphenoid, it is pointed over here. Further, the posteromedial surface, if you trace it from before backward, there is a foramen over here. It is known as foramen oval. So it is oval in shape. If you see it over here, this is foramen oval, which you are able to see in the middle cranial fossa. Behind the foramen oval, another foramen which is there, it is known as foramen spinosum. So behind it lies the foramen spinosum. This is foramen spinosum. Sometimes between this, in front of this foramen oval, there is another foramen which is known as emissary sphenoidal foramen of Vesalius. So in this bone you are able to see this foramen is emissary sphenoidal foramen of Vesalius. And sometimes between this foramens oval and foramen spinosum, another foramen is there. It is known as Canaliculi innominatus. which is situated between the foramen oval and the foramen spinosum. This is oval foramen, this is foramen spinosum, and in between them this is canaliculus innominatus. Now the junction of this greater wing of sphenoid or in relation to this posteromedial margin, and behind this lies the petrous part of the temporal bone. So this sulcus is known as sulcus tubi. The cartilaginous part of the auditory tube lies in relation to this sulcus tubi. This is known as sulcus tubi. Now we'll see the other area in the lateral part, that is your part of this temporal bone. So which are those parts? You are able to see the three parts of over here, that is squamous part of the temporal bone, the tympanic plate of the temporal bone, and this is the petrous part of the temporal bone. So three parts are there. This is the squamous part of the temporal bone, this is the tympanic plate, triangular in shape, and this is the petrous part of the temporal bone. So if you see this petrous part of the temporal bone, it's a triangular in shape and has got the apex which is directed anteromedially over here, and in this relation there is a foramen which lies between this body of sphenoid and this apex is your foramen lacerum. This is your foramen lacerum. It is the larger foramen over here. So it is perforated over in its posterior part by the anterior end of the carotid canal, while over this petrous part of the temporal bone posteriorly there is another canal known as the carotid canal. So this is the posterior end of the carotid canal. It traverses through this petrous temporal bone and its anterior end opens over here in the foramen lacerum part. So if you see the boundary of this foramen lacerum, it is bounded medially by this basi occiput or the body of the sphenoid. Posteriorly it is by this petrous temporal bone over here. Anteriorly by this root of this pterygoid process and greater wing of sphenoid. This area it is known as the squamous part of the temporal bone. This is the squamous part of the temporal bone, and it has got the anterior part it forms what is known as the mandibular fossa. So this mandibular fossa over here, if you further trace it over here, this is your articular tubercle and this is the anterior and the posterior root of this zygomatic arch. So this is the suture line between your greater wing of sphenoid and the squamous part of the temporal bone. Behind it lies this triangular plate of bone. This triangular plate of bone is known as the tympanic plate. The apex is directed medially while the base forms the anterior, inferior and the postero-inferior margin of this external acoustic meatus. This triangular plate has got superior border. This is the superior border. So it articulates with this squamous part of the temporal bone to form what is known as the squamotympanic fissure. This is squamotympanic fissure, while it has got the inferior border. Its inferior border ensheaths this process known as styloid process. So it's free and it ensheaths this styloid process. Now further, if you see this squamotympanic fissure over here, in the squamotympanic fissure, we have seen that in the middle cranial fossa there is a thin plate of bone. This portion is known as tegmen tympani, and this thin plate of bone they come downward and it comes to lies in between this fissure, and it will divide this tegmen tympani will divide this squamotympanic fissure into the two parts. That is, the part which lies anteriorly is known as the petrosquamous fissure, while part which lies posteriorly is known as petrotympanic fissure.